Welcome back. You're watching World News and I'm your host, Klaudia Czerwińska. The Polish Prime Minister says that there are many signs indicating that the war in Ukraine may be at least suspended soon. He made the remark during a visit to the Air Force Institute of Technology in Warsaw, but did not give any details.
There is a good chance. There are many signs indicating that the Russian-Ukrainian war may at least be suspended in the near future. But this does not change our situation in any way. Poland must be ready to defend itself regardless of developments on the Russian-Ukrainian front. And we cannot waste a single hour or a day in this race.
Former director of the Polish military Counterintelligence Service, Piotr Pytel, says that Donald Tusk's comment is likely based on the outcomes of recent U.S. Russia talks. In an interview with TVP World, Pytel said he does not believe in any signals about ending the war coming from the Kremlin.
Unfortunately, despite of the Prime Minister's statement, I don't believe in any promise from Russia, because we have some similar situations before when Russia present many statements that they want to end this war, that they are looking the possibilities for ceasefire or for suspension of the military activity in Ukraine. As I understand, the statement of the Prime Minister is based on the outcome of the talks between the government of Russian Federation and the representatives of American administration. But we should still be ready to defend our country, to be vigilant.
Reuters is reporting that Germany has begun work on a series of multi-billion euro military procurement orders to boost the country's defenses. Sources told the news agency that Berlin is looking to buy 20 Eurofighter jets and as many as 3,500 Patriot infantry fighting vehicles. Also in the pipeline is the purchase of up to 3,000 Boxer armored vehicles. The procurement orders are part of Chancellor Friedrich Merz's push to build Europe's most powerful conventional army. He is aiming to reduce reliance on the United States, which is seen as an unpredictable ally, and take greater responsibility for European security. U.S. President Donald Trump said that Russia has 10 days to cease military operations in Ukraine or face new sanctions. Trump made the remark aboard Air Force One as he returned to the United States from his visit to Scotland.
10 days from today.
Got it.
Okay?
Got it.
Good. We have a scoop. And then, we're going to put on tariffs and stuff, and I don't know if it's going to affect Russia, because he wants to obviously probably keep the war going. But we're going to put on tariffs and the various things that you put on. It may or may not affect them, but it could.
Russia launched a missile attack on a Ukrainian ground forces training facility on Tuesday, killing at least 3 servicemen and injuring 18 more. Ukrainian authorities have begun an official investigation into the attack, setting up a special commission led by the military police.
According to officials of Ukraine's ground forces, the investigation is meant to check if action or inaction of officials led to the deaths and injuries. Ukraine's military leadership is also implementing what it calls additional security measures to safeguard the lives of soldiers during Russian strikes on training grounds. The attack came after a series of Russian strikes on Ukrainian military facilities in May and June, including a previous attack on a training facility in which 12 soldiers were killed and further 60 injured.
Representatives of Ukraine and Poland have met in Kyiv to discuss the next stages of World War II victim exhumation efforts. The Ukrainian Ministry of Culture announced that the representatives, including Oleksandr Alferov of the Ukrainian Institute of National Remembrance, took part in talks regarding recent exhumations in Puzhiki, Ukraine, where the remains of at least 42 individuals were recovered. Both sides expressed support for continuing the search. there and near the Polish town of Zboiska. Ukraine is also awaiting final approval from Poland to begin the exhumation of Ukrainian victims in Jureczkowa. The Russian Federation wants to control the Republic of Moldova from autumn onwards, said Moldovan President Maya Sandu at a press briefing in Chisinau. She accused Russia of preparing an unprecedented interference campaign ahead of the country's parliamentary elections in September. President Sandu warned that electoral corruption and illegal external financing from Russia were the biggest threats to the upcoming election. Moscow already controls a part of Moldova, the breakaway region of Transnistria, which borders Ukraine from the west. And similarly to Ukraine, since Moldova decided on a pro-European path, launching the process of negotiations in preparation for EU accession, Moscow has been attempting to undermine its democratic institutions, likely with the end goal of installing a pro-Kremlin government in Chisinau. Protesters and police clashed in the city of Novi Pazar in southwest Serbia after masked men tried to break up a protest taking place in a university building. The demonstrations are part of a wider movement demanding the resignation of the government in Belgrade. Masked men reportedly forcefully removed students from the building early morning on Tuesday in protest of Serbia's government. They were reportedly acting under the orders of the university's management, which remains loyal to the government in Belgrade. When students flocked in front of the building to reclaim it, police blocked entrance to the facility, leading to scuffles. Eventually, students managed to re-enter the university. Serbian authorities, meanwhile, claim the students attacked the police and that the building was simply cleared due to a fire hazard. Anti-government protests in Serbia have been ongoing since September, when a roof collapsed at the Novi Sad railway station, killing 16. The protesters blame government corruption for the incident. And now to talk about these protests we just mentioned, I'm going to be joined by my guest, Besfor Trecaj, International Relations Professor at the University of Pristina. Hello, and thank you for joining me here on World News. I appreciate it.
Hello, thanks for having me.
So it's incredibly important that we have this conversation. We've seen the protests ongoing. We have heard about the removal of the students. Have the protests intensified in recent days? Is there going to be more escalation? What is the situation?
Well, I should answer that from different perspectives. First, from a general perspective regarding the development of the protests, I think we have seen a more calm period and less intensity protest because of obviously summer holidays, weather, heat, and everything related to that. But on the other hand, we might have seen yesterday a little bit of escalation with regards to a specific region of Serbia. And particularly, we are talking about Novi Pazar, which is situated in southern part of Serbia, which has not seen a very intense protest as we have seen in northern part, Belgrade and northern part of Serbia. Mainly Vojvodina, Novi Sad, and Belgrade. So this might be a turning point for the southern part of Serbia, and possibly it can spread out in Novi Sad, in Niš, not Novi Sad, in Niš, which is another, actually is the third largest city in Serbia, which has seen protests, but not at the intensity that we have seen in other parts, in mainly northern part of central and northern part of Serbia. So I guess that this situation right now, as it is, with the holidays and with less intensity of demonstrations, this might be a good opportunity to breathe for organizers of the protest and to look back at their demands and how can they focus more and make clear demands towards the government of Serbia.
So speaking of demands, what are some of the demands that these protesters have? I mean, we've heard about some resignations in high government positions. We've seen that the government in Belgrade is actually trying to imply some changes. What do you think would have to happen for these protesters to actually de-escalate?
I think that the final demand, let's say the ultimate demand for the protesters, is to have an early elections because of high level of corruptions that have been going on in Serbia, a backslide in democratic development, economic stagnations, and everything related to that. So I think, and the collapse of the incident in Novi Sad that happened in train stations is just a tip of the iceberg of what's going on actually in Serbia and throughout Serbia because of an autocratic regime that tries to control media and society, NGOs in Serbia, which is halting true democratic development in the country. So ultimately, the ultimate demands of protesters are to have an early free, which is important, free, fair and democratic elections.
And how likely do you think this scenario is, considering that you mentioned this autocratic rule that is happening in Serbia and maybe perhaps some sort of involvement of the European Union? I mean, there is an election coming, so how do you think it's possible to have the fair election? Let's focus on that.
Well, we have seen a very constrained, I believe, European Union and U.S. involvement for that matter. Despite all what's happening in Serbia, we have very limited, mainly rhetorical reaction from the European Union, but not something more concrete, let's say, backed up by withholding economic support, financial aid, or something related in that nature. So it has been very limited, and therefore, which is managed to control the situation so far. Right now, we are in sort of low intensity, but as we are approaching September, October, and possibly the first anniversary of the protest, I think we will see a much more intensified demonstrations, possibly spreading in the southern part of Serbia, Novi Pazar, maybe Niš, and this could then incite a much more peaceful, let's say, reaction from the Serbian government, and to think.
Unfortunately,
about, more
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm really sorry to interrupt you, but our time on the program has come to an end. Thank you so much. Besford Reca, International Relations Professor at the University of Pristina, was my guest. Thank you for joining.
Thank you very much. All the best.
Pleasure's all mine. And so this would be all for now here on World News. Thank you very much for joining. I'm Klaudia Czerwińska, and I hope to see you back here on TVP World for more news and features.